What is up, guys? We're here with a very special guest. He needs no introduction, the man himself, Dan Lok. We're both here celebrating our $10 million rings. We'll get a little pound right here at ClickFunnels. He's built a massive, massive business. He's going to be telling us the #1 way to get started and generate $500 profit as a complete beginner. It requires no upfront capital, like some things like real estate and stuff like that.
Correct.
You know, where it's kind of out of reach for people who are just getting started.
Correct.
Right. So really quickly, guys, I want to go over just a little bit of a story of Dan. You know, how he came up to create such a beautiful, massive business and community. You know, coming from his background. So why don't you give us, you know, just the quick kind of Dan Lok story for my audience, if some people don't know you.
Well, I was born in Hong Kong and I immigrated to Canada when I was 14 years old, and I was the only child in my family. My mom and dad got divorced when I was 16 years old. So early on, I learned to be self-reliant, right? How I need to depend on myself and take care of my family. So unfortunately, my dad, because of bad business partnership, actually went bankrupt when I was 17 years old.
Wow.
So that left him almost $1 million US dollars in debt.
That's tough.
That's tough.
That's
and
tough.
that wiped him out emotionally and financially. So he was never the same man ever again. So I have few choices. I could just, like most people, go to school and try to get a job, but that wouldn't provide for my family.
Right.
So it's almost I got into entrepreneurship by accident. I was actually never interested in money, anything like that at all. Like, my biggest ambition at a time was to be a martial art instructor.
A what instructor?
A martial art instructor.
Ah.
That was because I was getting bullied in school.
Right.
So that got me into martial art. I thought, well, this is so awesome. It changed my life.
Right.
So what if I could teach this to other people, or give them self-confidence?
Right.
So I've always had that teacher's heart, right? I always
Yeah.
like to teach.
Yeah.
But so very humble beginning, and I started and failed at many, many businesses. In fact, I started and failed at 13 businesses. 13 businesses. 13 before having my first success, right?
Wow.
I was trying all kinds of things like vending machine. I tried network marketing.
Nice.
We've all tried network marketing,
Yeah, of
you know,
course.
and landscaping business and all these things. But what changed my life personally, it's because I found my mentor.
Right.
That was the turning point of my life. And I worked for Alan. Alan at the time, he was running one of the largest financial education company in Canada. I worked for Alan for probably about a year for next to nothing, like bare minimum, like it's next to nothing. But I always refer that year as the $1 million year of my life because I got $1 million worth of education from him. He gave me something that changed my life, not just knowledge, but he gave me a skill set. And I define that as, I call that high income skill.
Right.
So my first high income skill was copywriting. That's how I got started.
I love that.
In my early 20s, right,
Yeah.
as a copywriter.
A lot of people actually don't know that you had a 9-to-5 job. Is that right?
Yeah, back then.
Just one time.
My entire life, I've only worked for from somebody else for 1 year.
Yeah.
And I was working in a supermarket as a grocery bagger.
From grocery bagger to multi-millionaire Dan Lok. That is the Dan Lok story, guys. So let's kick it off, right? How do people actually start generating $500 per day, right, or more as a complete beginner with, little to no money to get started?
There's so many ways to make money online, right?
So many ways.
You can do affiliate marketing. You can people try to do cryptocurrency or whatever it is. There's so many e-commerce, obviously, so many different ways. But most of these vehicles requires some kind of capital, right? You need to build a website. Even Shopify, it costs money, right?
Yeah,
you got to sign up a subscription fee, driving traffic. You need
Facebook ads.
If you want to buy some inventory from China, right? That costs money. You don't need a lot of money, but you need some money to get going, right? That's just reality of things.
Right.
When it comes to making that first $500, you think about it. Instead of you trying to build something from scratch, why not leverage and piggyback someone who's already got a lot of components in place? So the model that I teach is called high ticket closing.
Right.
So let me break it down for you. Why is this such a powerful opportunity? Think about, let's say, Kevin, an influencer. What's happening? Let's talk about back then, because I know you've built your company 18 months, but let's say talk about 3-4 years ago, right? When advertising, back then I had multiple products on ClickBank. We were selling a $37 product. I could run ads and acquire customers at $5 and $10 per customer.
Right.
Like we were printing money. You spend $10, you're making $37, $47. Like we were just doing it like that.
Right.
Problem is, as more people get on the internet, it gets more and more competitive.
More saturated.
More saturated, right? So a lot of these, what I call low ticket offers that's below $200 or so. Back then it was profitable, but nowadays, as you know, they're not profitable.
It's tough.
They're only designed to acquire customer, to bring a customer in so that you can later on follow up with them with other what I call high ticket offers, right? And offers that could be anywhere from $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 or more.
Right.
The problem is this, when you're selling something at high ticket, it's difficult to sell that through a post.
Yeah, people need a little bit more like human interaction.
Yes, right? I want $10,000, you post a tweet, right?
Yeah. Nobody's gonna just send that to your bank
it's
account,
like,
right?
Here's my PayPal link, go ahead, right? It doesn't work that way. So this is, you might be thinking, well, so Kevin, David, like Dan, like what has that to do with me?
Right.
This is where you come in. You can develop your high income skill as a closer to help these influencers and companies and get them on a telephone and help them close these sales.
Right.
So imagine as an influencer, as an entrepreneur, they have done 90% of the work. You're creating the content, you're running the webinar, you're writing the emails, you're setting up the autoresponder sequence, you're delivering the product, you have the customer service. You've done 90% of the work, but you as a high ticket closer, you could come in and say, hey, let me help you with that 10%.
Right.
And you help them close the sale. When you do that, an influencer is saying, hey, this is nice. I'm willing to pay you 10%. I'm willing to pay you 15% when you close a sale for me.
Something to just really quickly,
Yes.
right? We're here at Funnel Hacking Live right
Yes.
now. We're recording. There was 500 people who won 2 Comma Club awards.
There you go.
There are influencers all over the place who are making just unheard of amounts of money selling these high ticket offers, right? Because I know some of you might be thinking, but Kevin, how do I find these people that are selling that $5,000 offer? And Dan's gonna get to that in a second, but I just wanted to really quickly just let you guys know this is happening all over the place, right? So if you're thinking to yourself, but Kevin, how do I find these people? We're gonna tell you in just a second.
It's actually the other way. Like these influencers, they're looking for people.
I was looking.
They are looking for people who can do this for me. So think about a $5,000 offer. So $5,000, let's say you get a 10% commission for every sale that you close. So that's $500, right? If someone generates, $5,000 for you per sale, would you be willing to pay them 10%?
Absolutely.
All day.
Yeah.
All day easy. It's a no-brainer, right? So $500, and let's say you are closing 1 out of 5, 20%, which is very typical for my students for inbound leads, right? So let's say you talk to 5 people a day. So 5 people a day, you close 1 sale per day for a $5,000 package, high ticket offer. How much you just made?
$500 a day.
$500. And let's say you want to work just typical 5 days a week. Saturday, Sunday, you take Saturday, Sunday off, 5 days a week. That's $2,500 per week that you just made. That's $10,000 a month right there.
So if people are saying to themselves, yeah, Dan, that sounds great, but like, how do I'm not a seller. I don't know how to sell things on the phone, right?
Yes.
Could you recommend some like free resources that people could like learn how to, because some people are scared to get on the phone. Some people don't know how to sell things, right? What are some free resources that people could like check out, right? To learn more about the actual sales process, right? Because if people are thinking to themselves, yeah, $500 a day sounds great, but that means I actually have to be able to sell something, right?
Yes, that's a great question. Most of my students, when they come into my family, my community, they actually don't know how to sell. I actually prefer people who don't know how to sell, because I'm not talking, Dan, are you talking about being a telemarketer, like annoying telephone salesperson? Hey, do you want to buy a travel cruise package and would you like to switch your telephone plan? That's not what we're talking about,
No.
right? This is a completely different way of selling. That kind of traditional sales actually don't work when it comes to high ticket sales.
Not anymore, no.
They don't work. So what we're talking about is a new way of communicating, a new way of closing, that your prospect is actually doing most of the talking, right? We're not talking about like hardcore, like, Wolf of Wall Street.
Sales
techniques, actually, and they don't work anyway.
Yeah.
Like, the typical alternative close. Hey, Kevin, Mr. Prospect, would you like it in blue? Would you like it in red? Oh, come on, man. Just like, give me a break. That stuff doesn't work. We're talking about connecting with your prospect, and that's why it's good when you don't have any sales experience, because then you don't become so salesy. We don't want that, right?
Yeah, you don't learn bad habits.
You don't learn bad habits.
Something else that's worth noting is the closers that I use. I have 13 full-time closers, right? The closers that I use, they're not making outbound calls to like people who are like hanging up on them or mad at them.
No.
They all scheduled to get a phone call. They're happy to get a phone call, right? These are people who are actually choosing and signing up and scheduling to get a phone call.
That's a great point. Think about from a buyer journey perspective, okay? This is not like, okay, here's some names, good luck, you call.
Yeah, here's some cold leads.
No. So imagine, let's say I'm a prospect, I'm a potential customer for Kevin. Probably I've been watching your videos, I've been consuming your content, and I'm thinking, you know what, I want to start online, but I'm a beginner, I don't know what to do. I joined one of your webinars. So I've been consuming your content, I joined one of your webinars, and I watched the webinar, right? And then, okay, but I don't know, I still have some.
Talk to my wife.
Yeah, I think about it. Is this the right thing to do? I have some concerns, I have some questions. And then you're like, okay, if you still have questions, why don't you book a time with one of my coaches, right? One of my people. Okay, awesome. At least I can talk to somebody. I book a time. I schedule a time. Now I call someone from your office who's a high ticket closer. Now you walk me through exactly how this whole thing is going to work.
What's included in the package?
Yeah,
what do
what's
I
the
get? How are you
expectation?
going to help me? Right, things like that.
So in my mind, think about, I've already gone through this much, like this path.
95% of the work is done.
That's it.
By the time the phone call initiates,
Yeah,
right?
It's like, I hate to say, you're not an order taker, but you're not doing a whole lot.
Yeah.
Right? You're going, it's like you're running a marathon, like, you are like almost there to the finish line as a high-tech closer. You're like, let me help you with that last step.
The last 5%.
The last 5%, and boom.
So people are thinking, okay, $5,000 package, right? 10%, which is a kind of like a industry average.
Yeah.
That's $500 a day. Only 5 sales calls, potentially 10. Even still, right? That's not taking more than 30 minutes per call or something like that, right?
Yep.
So even at 5, 10 sales, that's still, whatever it is, 5 hours.
But here's what's exciting.
Yeah.
So we're talking 1 out of 5. I like to use bad numbers. But when you pick the right influencer, or when you get better, what if you close 1 out of 4?
Yeah, what if you close 25% or 30 or?
And when you get better, when you get good, what if you're not selling a $5,000 package? You're selling a $10,000 package.
And that might seem hard to believe, like $10,000, but people are paying this every day. Literally at this conference today, the 2 Comma Club X coaching,
$25,000.
$25,000 for that package. 600 people signed up today, right? Think about how much commission that is if you're using this exact strategy. So, okay, so people are making calls and closing high ticket phone sales for influencers,
Yes.
right? How do they find the influencers and actually, start working for them so that they can start to implement this?
That's a good question. So one of the best ways, here's what you don't want to do. You don't want to be spamming influencers. Like, hey, I can close for you, like all this. No, exactly what we were talking about before we start talking. It's you have to add value. Example, simple thing, if they have a Facebook group, you go in and you just add value. Don't sell, don't pitch your service, none of that. You just add value and you start liking the influencers, the stuff, commenting. Trust me, the influencer will see your name again and again and again and again. It's like, okay, that's interesting. And then they would kind of see, who is this person? Oh, they do high-tech closing, or maybe they're familiar with me, because this space, everybody knows everybody, right? Oh, maybe I'm looking for high-tech. Like example, my high-tech closer, how did they find you?
They messaged me, actually no, I made a post in ClickFunnels because I was searching for high ticket closers.
There you go.
And like a ton of people messaged me, and actually one of my students who was killing it in my Amazon program was like, hey man, I'm a high ticket closer now and I'm helping, with that. And so I was like, boom. And so I hired him, and then he started to build a team, and now we have 13 full-time people. So he didn't even message me. I made a post asking about it now that I think about it.
Right? You think about it. So adding value, going to events, it's a perfect way.
Oh my gosh, here?
Events, it's the best. I tell my students, events the best way. Why? Because when you're meeting with someone at an event, there's no gatekeeper.
Right.
There's no, talk to my assistant and all that. You're connecting with them, right? And if you're using the techniques I teach you, you just keep asking questions. How's business? What is going on? And let them talk 90% of the time. You don't pitch your service. Then they would say, hey, what do? You just do a 30, 60 second pitch. And that's it. If they want to know more, great. Set up a time we talk. If not, that's okay.
And something that the closers did actually for me, which I really liked, was he sent me a video message.
This is what I taught.
Not a text message. And it was smart because he sounded, very professional. He sounded like somebody who I'd want representing my brand.
Yeah.
Right? Because at the end of the day, it's essential that they're representing your brand, that they maintain professionalism and things like that. So let's break it down. Let's summarize for people, right? Yeah. Step one, we're making, 5 to 10 phone calls, closing at 20%, right? For a high ticket package, you're getting a 10% commission at $5,000. That's $500 per day, right? How do you find people? You find them in popular Facebook groups for entrepreneurs. You go and follow them and add value on all of their social media.
Not spamming, don't spam.
Not spamming, free value, right? And you can look at the 2 Comma Club list, right? That's a great way to find influencers.
I told my students, the agenda, the 500 that won.
Yeah. Take a picture, go find every single one of them.
That's who you want to talk to.
Yeah.
That's exactly. And a lot of now the winners of the 8-figure club, Peng Jun, a number of them, right? They're all also, I have closers working within a team. Same thing, helping them to scale. Yeah. And that's how you scale the business, right? You are there utilizing your skill to add value to their business. Think about it. Imagine a closer, let's say a closer is generating 50,000, 40,000 additional revenue for you. Are you happy? Yeah. Is he happy? Yeah.
Because he's making money and I'm making money.
Yeah, and
synergy.
And how long you want to keep that person around?
Right. Forever.
Oh yeah, a long time, right? A long time. So that's what I'm talking about. It's a win for the influencer, it's a win for the closer, but also a win for the customer.
Right.
Because a lot of time customer that they may be on the fence, that I call that they have maybe like a lot lower self-issue. They need someone to help them overcome that. When anyone invests in a high ticket offer, they invest at a high level, right? When there's skin in the game, there's skin in the game. When there's no skin in the game, there's no game. So the more they pay for something, the more they value it.
Right.
And that's why I charge a high ticket price, because I know for someone, if they spend $30 on a program, it's $30.
They won't do it.
They won't do it.
Yeah, Russell Brunson says, when you pay attention.
That's right, exactly.
Right? And it is so true. It's ridiculous.
When they spend $1,000, okay. Like, I'm more serious.
Yeah.
I want to block out the time. I want to take my time. I want to go through this. I want to implement.
Yeah.
$10, like, who cares?
Right.
$50, nah, who cares, right? But people want to make a serious change. They need someone to help them just navigate that a little bit. Sometimes I tell my closers, what you are doing is you are giving them that confidence to move forward. So it's not hard selling at all.
And if you guys are gonna do this, right, don't be the 99% of people that never actually takes any action, right? Yeah. Be the 1% who watches this video and then implements things. And if you guys are gonna if you guys are gonna try this, let us know down in the comments if you are going to try this. And if you guys want to subscribe to Dan's channel, just search Dan Lok on YouTube. I'm sure most of you guys have already heard about him. And if you guys are interested in learning more about how to make passive income online, check out this video right here where we're going to be breaking down the top 4 passive income methods to make money on the internet. Dan, thank you again so much.
Welcome.
And we'll see you again soon.
See you soon.
Today we're going to talk about the top 4 ways to earn passive income while you sleep, and I'm going to debunk the #1 most common myth about earning passive income so that you can start